yikes, it's telling me an error occurred. Hello everybody. I am live. I'm not sure whether you can hear me because YouTube said there was some kind of an error. Maybe they thought there was an error because there's already over 300 likes, and that's really thanks to dear Lucy, my lovely Lucy, who is my assistant here and helping wonderfully on the live chat. Thank you, Lucy. So, are we live? Welcome. Teddy's here as well. He didn't want to be left out. And we've got another friend here as well today. We've got Susan the Swan, who's also come to say hello. And Teddy likes to ride on the swan. But anyway, I've been told that I'm too chit-chatty. So let's just get some feedback here. I'm going to ask you a question, something to think about at the beginning of the live stream. This has been an idea of Lucy's. Lucy's very wonderful with coming up with ideas. People are saying it takes too long to get going. So we've got this strawberry full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. Sagittarius always looking for the higher, more spiritual view of life. So my question to you would be this: what feeds your soul? What feeds you on the deeper level? Yeah, you like food, you like your chocolate, you like your ice cream, your coffee, a piece of pie, a cup of tea and a biscuit. Whatever it is that you enjoy physically, you know those things. Those are easier to access. But what nourishes your soul? What is it that feeds you? Let's start on that tone, because Sagittarius has to do with seeing what your soul needs. Thank you, Geothica. Thank you. Why are you here? These are all bigger questions now. It's time to ask the big questions. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Great, we're getting answers here. Being of service to others. Shabbat Shalom, yes. Your spirituality feeds your soul. In what way? Writing and animals. Thank you, Crafty Cat. Dancing, music, dancing, nature. Being helpful. Beautiful. All right, being helpful. Being in a free society. Beautiful. Water music, kindness, making art, love, nature, photography, your dogs. Beautiful, yeah, thank you, Lucy, let's sink into this heartfelt energy. Yes, it's this soul energy. What gives meaning to your life? Yes, this is what this lunar eclipse is about. It's triggered so much polarization, Sagittarius ruling everything to do with immigration, racism, religion, race, our differences, and of course our similarities. So much has been triggered at this time, and now we have to look at the deepest of levels. Not only survival, which of course is important, the survival of our human race, and we're looking at survival when we're connecting with coronavirus. But how can we thrive? The way we thrive in Sagittarian fashion with this strawberry lunar eclipse has to do with feeding your soul and knowing what feeds your soul and knowing what is your purpose here. Why are you here? Why does humanity exist? What are we doing here? These are the questions that this lunar eclipse wants us to ask. I'm noticing more and more in my readings with clients, more and more clients are asking me, what's my mission? Why am I here? What does my chart show? What are the clues in my astrology chart? Thank you, James, very much. And the astrology certainly can give you clues, for sure, and can help show you where you might best manifest this purpose. But even here and now, right here and now, you can tune into the energy of this Sagittarius lunar eclipse and get inspiration from one another. Those who are sharing, what do you feel your purpose is here upon planet Earth? Do you know? On the wider perspective, I would say we're here to become one family, one united humanity. I think that's what we're here to learn. One heart, one people, the oneness of all. So start asking yourself, what is the highest meaning I could have for my soul? Yeah. Woo! Big questions. Teddy's saying his purpose is to bring soothing and softness and safety. And I've had mixed comments, but certainly some beautiful comments about people saying, I had somebody who wrote to me about the teddies, and many of you said you sleep with teddies and you've got teddies yourself, but that she works in a school. And often the toughest and hardest children would hold on to the teddies the tightest, because the teddy can be very healing. So what's your purpose here? This is really, woo, yeah, deep stuff, but this is what lunar eclipses are about. It's an opportunity to turn around the way that you live your life. Eclipses are turning points. Most years we have 4 eclipses, sometimes 5. This year we've got 6. Big year. Venus and Mars retro this year, as long as along with all the other retrogrades. Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Pluto. It's so much is happening at once, you can't help but know that something is transformational here. Helping people less fortunate, helping animals. Yeah, this is great. So these are things to inspire one another with, because the more that you have a purpose, a reason, the more you will be inspired and moved to do more with your life. Okay. Hi, Crystal. Your ex is bringing your teddy. I love that. Okay. So, I think that when I think about Sagittarius, again, this Jupiterian energy, I think of miracles. Thank you very much, Manu. And becoming much more aware of every detail of the miracles of being alive. I mean, even right here, right now, isn't it a miracle that we're all breathing? While sadly there are some who are struggling to breathe on ventilators. Doesn't that make us more appreciative of what we've got in every moment? I think this pandemic, from what I'm hearing from people, is making us feel more vulnerable, for sure, but also preciousness of life, the preciousness of the people in your life. And a sage once said the difference between a miracle and a natural event is its frequency, is how often it happens. If the sun didn't rise every day, if it happened just once a year, it would be a miracle. For some reason, and it is a miracle that it actually does happen every day, but we don't notice it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that the virus took your father. Thank you, Reem. And so we are called upon here to have meaning, to have purpose, to have value to every human life. And to realize that we are one. Jamie, thank you. Music, dance, and the gym set you off. Thank you. So COVID-19, it's cleaning us up, isn't it? We're having to clean everything up. Physically, hygienically, our thinking patterns, our planet, how we want to be. And Uranus in Taurus is disrupting the material world. And gosh, does it need disruption, doesn't it? I mean, don't know about you, and I get quite a lot of emails from many of you saying, how can the stock markets be going up, up, up when so many people are unemployed, when over 100,000 businesses have closed their doors in the United States alone in the last couple of months? How, please, can we ask, are the stock markets going up? And it's a very valid question. And the only answer I can come up with, and maybe you guys who are more onto this than me, is that the Federal Reserve, an unelected body of people, they're not elected by the people, they're a private company, are pumping more and more money into those stock markets and creating highs so that the rich are getting richer. The tiny 1%, the less than 1%, is getting more and more. Now, I think that we don't know yet. Many people hasn't hit them yet because getting a bit of government stimulus, the government are handing out more of this printed money. But ultimately, there are consequences of creating more and more debt. So for me, Uranus in Taurus, to me, it's a revolution with our financial system. There is going to be a revolution about this. There is a revolution already starting. We can see that happening in America. I would pray that we can have a peaceful revolution, an intelligent revolution, where we don't have to go into fighting one another for changing our world, but where we can find other ways of changing what is important. It's 0.1%, okay? Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, it's very, very small. I'm hearing that President Trump took over the Fed. Thank you. Thank you. I'm hearing that. I don't know the evidence to that, and I don't know what that means. So all I do know is that I don't know. My guess is, based upon the astrology and Jupiter and Pluto coming together, Pluto debt, Jupiter explosion of debt, and how can you solve a debt problem by creating more debt? Doesn't make sense to me, but then I'm just an average person. I don't know. But to me, I think hyperinflation is coming, where prices suddenly go out of control. And this happens quickly. When it hits, it happens quickly, guys. It happens really quickly. In 1921, 20 marks in Germany would buy you 1 ounce of gold. 20 marks. By 1923, you would need 1 trillion marks to buy 1 ounce of gold. And the way things are going, the currency is being debased, it's being devalued. It's 98, the dollar is worth 98%, so the experts say, less than it did since 1971 when Nixon closed the gold window. So it's, yeah. I love that sound of that, Nicholas. American people are more united than ever. Wonderful. I'm sorry, Trash Panda, that you feel as though you're a person of colour and you're scared of living in the United States. These are things that we have a unique opportunity now with what we've been given, the miracle of the internet, the miracle of what we've got together, to be able to change this. So astrologically huge times with huge opportunity. Mars is going to go retrograde. I know we've been talking about this. We're talking about Mars going into Aries, and we're already seeing this violence coming through, this propensity to fighting. Yes, do stock some food and some, whatever you can get stocks of now, do it. Thank you very much, Shetty. Yeah, not in a panic, but you may be able to help somebody else. And once again, I'm just saying that with all these aspects, you might be feeling very emotional. You might be feeling as though things are all too much. You might be feeling overwhelmed. And where is your personal anger coming up? Yeah, where for me, I must admit, happened yesterday, took me by surprise, but I got lost on the motorway and I really needed to be going in the opposite direction. And there was just nowhere to turn, and I didn't know where to turn off. And I was just going a bit slower, all right? And this truck came aggressively hooting me, very aggressive. And I have to admit, I just lost it for about 20 seconds. I swore, I shouted at him. Yeah, I had a reaction, a violent one. I didn't hit him, but I did shout. Not that he heard anything. So I think there is a reaction that is there. Maybe you have I think we all have a reaction to something that frightens you or threatens you. But it was over quickly. Yeah, it was out and finished. So I think that whatever reactions we have, fine, but then we've got to move on and say, right, what can we do collectively? What can we do now? So when I used to speak to clients, I mean, even let's say 6 months ago, and I would say to them, because I said, look, Uranus in Taurus, there's going to be a shake-up of values, a shake-up of what is important. And we've got to get away from more materialism, more money, more this, more the other, more that. There's got to be the meaning in life, which is this Sagittarius lunar eclipse. And remember, the energy of eclipses lasts for at least 6 months. So just because I'm talking about it now, don't think that this energy suddenly dissipates. No, it doesn't. It's a strong energy, which is why I'm talking about these eclipses. So I'm going to ask you now, what are your 3 top values? What's most important to you? Now, if I would have asked my clients, let's say 6 months ago, I would have got these answers. Love, romance, sexuality, money, finances, social life, entertainment, some career success, and all of this is good. Please don't say that these are things that are wrong, that we shouldn't want them. But I'm noticing now a big shift since this coronavirus, when we've had to back off and become more retrograde, rethink really what's important now. What if all these things were taken away? What's left? And what people are now saying to me is, who do I love? What is security? How can I survive this? It's a very real question. How can I build community? What do we need? We need fresh air, fresh water, good food, community, and a higher goal that we're working for both individually and together. And if we come together for a higher purpose, then we'll rebuild the world that we want. That's my feeling as to what the aspects are calling for at this time. Beautiful. People coming up with your things. Thank you. You're saying so many things here. Thank you. Growing food, love, being useful, compassion, freedom, creativity. Peace would be lovely. Yes, wouldn't it? Thank you, Lucy. You're helping here. You certainly bring peace amongst certain rattled emotions sometimes here on the live chat. Thank you, Lucy. Stillness, connection, being, peace, love, understanding, community. Look at how many things we have in common here. Yeah, look at this commonality: family, loved ones, healing. Yeah, we need to talk about how to implement. Absolutely, Nicholas, right on there. But let's get first this sense that we're changing what's important, because we won't change our actions until we have a different motivation for those actions. Right? If your actions are only to find a job that pays you a lot of money, that's going to be a very different motivation than finding work that is gratifying, that has meaning to you, that pays you money, but that's doing some good in this world, that's being of service, that makes you be very, very creative, that brings out your potential. Beautiful. See? Peace, spirituality, career, money, health. Yes, these are all important. Connection to nature. Yeah. So, how do we do it? Well, I think we've got to get our heads together. I think we've got to, what's important? What's important? So, I'm reminded of a wonderful quote from a very wonderful sage and scholar, Hillel. He worked greatly on some of the Jewish texts, the Mishnah and the Talmud. And a famous saying of his is, "If I am not for myself, who will be for me? If I am only for myself, what am I?" So, to paraphrase what I feel that means, is that you have to be for yourself. You have to take care of yourself. You have to do the things that nourish you. Yes, if you go out and just help people all the time and deplete yourself, you're no help. So I do take that one day out when I go offline. And I spend a lot of time in prayer and quietness and stillness and nature and whatever. Yes, whatever is appropriate, but I take that time out. It's nourishing. So I do the things, I try to do the things that nourish me to keep me strong in these times. So what are you doing that's nourishing? What do you do for you? That first part. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? All right, that's the first question. I'll wait for a moment. I take care of myself because I am you. Thank you, Nicholas. That's very deep. Okay. Yeah. So then the next part, if I am only for myself, what am I? So if you're only building your own house, doing your own thing, all for you, me, it has an emptiness after a while. It's not fulfilling. Yeah? In the Depression, we had family. In the war, people clung together. They clubbed together. This is what happens. These are difficult times here. for many, and there is to be a coming together. But what I'm hoping to do with some of the things that I'm sharing with you here, through the astrology, through the spiritual awakening of consciousness that's happening, is hopefully not to have it be so harsh or so hard. The astrology shows, for example, that there is a strong chance that we're going to have another wave of COVID-19 in the fall, maybe October, November time, possibly. So what can we do now over these next months? It's not a long period. To listen to our scientists, listen to the people who are studying this, sure, but what can we do to the best of our ability to prevent that from happening? That would be my question, that we are doing something proactively here so that that possibility does not become a reality. These are the things I'm hoping by sharing this with you. Astrologically, you will have like a heads up. So I can only give you a personal example here, and I'm sorry if there's too much personal here. Tell me if it's too personal. People have said it's too chatty, but I think sometimes personal examples can be very illuminating or helpful. I find it helpful when a speaker shares something personal with me. So, and I've just gone and forgotten what I was going to share, you see. Yes, I'm back. Retrograde. Rethink, one moment. Give yourself time with these retrogrades, yeah? If anybody's rushing you or pushing you into something right now, the answer is, I'll sleep on it, thank you very much. Give me time. I'll sleep on that decision, thank you. Don't push me. Don't be pushed. This Mars in Aries is a bit pushy. Don't allow yourself to be pushed. For example, in Greece, almost, I would say, 5% of the people wear masks when they go out. Even in the people I'm seeing, about 5%. So for the most part, people are just wandering around as though nothing's happened, not really social distancing, and not doing a lot of the things that have been recommended as possible antidotes to this thing spreading. I'm not saying they're the right things. I'm not saying that they're the wrong things, but I'm saying it seems to have worked to have flattened the curve, whether you believe in this or not. I believe this is a true threat, this COVID-19. I've seen too many people get very, very sick and still not recovered. So I think that this is something we need to look at and not pretend that it's not there. And so when I go out, I wear a mask. And I feel very much as though I am not part of the herd. And it's very uncomfortable. I'm very aware of the fact that I prefer not to go into the shops when I don't have to. So if I can call somebody outside in the chemist and I ask them, I say, could you come outside, please? And I ask them for what I want and they bring it out and I hand them the money at the distance. But I'm in the minority here, the vast minority. I know that's not the case in Asia. And for many of you, you're still under lockdown. But when you come out of lockdown, that's the time when I feel we still need to be cautionary until we see that this thing is not coming back. Yeah, let's give it a chance. This is again my feeling because of what I'm seeing as a distinct possibility in the astrology. If this didn't look like a strong possibility, I'd say fine, okay, let's just get on with it. But if we could avoid having a really serious second wave, would you avoid it? Would you want that? That's just a question. Just a question. And I'm not saying that we're being treated right or any of this, but you have an individual choice. to take certain measures. And I'm just saying these are ones that I still choose to take, even if they're rubbish, even if they are not doing anything. What does it cost me? It doesn't cost me anything. And it might be helping. And you might say that that's false reasoning, and perhaps it is. But what's important for you? Yeah? What's important for you? Maybe if I'm carrying it and I carry it back to my friends, unknowingly, unwittingly, I would hate to have done that. So, just saying. And I realise that this is contentious, and I don't mean to be contentious. I think each one has to do what you feel is right for you. So I would have to say that there are certain consequences of this coronavirus that we may not want, and Saturn and into Aquarius, particularly from the end of the year, could certainly bring about the restrictions of certain freedoms that we don't want. All right, so I'm not suggesting that that's not the case, but if wearing a mask protects other people, and we're not sure whether that's so, but maybe it's so, wouldn't you do it? So, Neptune in Pisces, okay? Neptune's in Pisces for another several years. And Neptune's in rulership there. So wherever a planet is in rulership, particularly one of the outer planets, I feel as though this is where we have to really listen to what's the message of this planet. What's it trying to tell us? Well, it's certainly trying to tell us that we're all one, right? That we are, we're breathing the same molecules, right? We're living on the same planet, most of us. And Caroline Mice, I like her very much. She does some really beautiful videos at the moment too. And I'd like to just quote her. She says that every act of kindness, every act of goodness now matters more than you ever thought before. Every act of kindness, and little ones. Yeah. So, and little act of kindness, my friend, her partner is in the hospital right now. He's had a heart attack, sadly, another one. And the hospital's a long, long way away. It's hard for her to get there. And they had no other beds for him, but one in ICU. So she can only see him through a window. But she makes that trip all that way just to smile at him through the window, so that he can see a friendly face. Yeah, these little, kind little things. Yeah. What are the kind little things you're doing? What are the kind little things that you're noticing around you? Rose, I hear you. If you can't wear a mask because of panic attacks, and I hear you about that, then you can't do it, okay? And accepted. There are always exceptions, and we have to make allowances for exceptions, and for people who can't, of course. But the vast majority could or can. Yeah. So how can we extend ourselves? This eclipse is about extending yourself just a little bit beyond your personal discomfort. I don't like doing it any more than you do, all right? I'm human as they come. I don't like it. But if that's what it takes and that's what it's needed, I think, let me give you a little example of something. It's a little story of two men who are in a wood, and it's freezing cold and night is falling. And one of them is very thin and very frail. And the other one is strong and quite robust. Starts to snow, and the frail one begins to shiver, doesn't feel well, and suddenly just passes out. So the stronger one starts to rub his heart, starts to rub him, starts to, just massage his organs, massage his extremities, just to try to do something to keep the other person alive. And then eventually it just gets so cold and so bad that the stronger guy also faints and passes out. Now luckily help does come and they both get rescued. But the frail man asks the strong man and says, hey, you could have just gone away. You could have just left and left me to die. Why did you stay? Yeah, why was that? He said, well, actually, you helped me not to die. He said, because by exerting myself and by using my body to keep you alive, I stayed alive longer. So it helped me too to help you. So I think that when you help someone else, there are profound benefits. So guys, I am going to be doing, by popular demand, another Q&A with the Pleiadians. My dear Pam Gregory has volunteered to do the interviewing again because many of you said you enjoy having the two of us together. So if you would like to ask your questions, I'd be delighted to receive them. You can put them on my community tab on YouTube. You can put them here. If you have questions, we'll gather them up and we'll put the most popular ones to the Pleiadians with Pam Gregory together. So what are we building up towards now? Well, we're building towards now from this Sagittarian energy to the Cancerian, really, really powerful eclipse, new moon solar eclipse, coming up on the 21st of June. So it's in Cancer. And Cancer has to do with family, home, nurturing. So I'm going to give you some keywords. I want you to think of these keywords in your life and how you can begin to activate them. So family. How do you get the feeling of family? What gives you a feeling of family? I've got a feeling of family with you here online. With Teddy here, with you. I certainly feel in the live chat we're a beautiful community here, with Lucy helping, and with so many of you really making supportive comments with one another online. Your neighbours brought you fresh farm eggs. Beautiful. So, great questions are coming in. They will be collected. So, here's the keywords. Family. How do you create family? How do we create family now for this new world? Home. How do we create a home for everybody on this planet, where there are no homeless people, where there is nobody starving, where there's nobody on the streets? And I must find the rest of Hillel's wonderful quote, because as I said earlier, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? So you have to do things to nourish yourself. If I'm only for myself, who am I? Not only for you. We need to share and help. But if not now, when? So the next questions are, what actions are you going to take? What are the actions we're going to do? This is the question that Nicholas asked earlier. What are we going to do to change? Yeah, it's no use asking why this, why that, why the other. That's all the Gemini energy, and that's okay. But we now need to say, this is what we've got. Now what are we going to do about it? And what can we do together? And Lucy, a handsome man, retrieved your scarf from a tree today. That was a very heroic thing to do. Beautiful in the strong winds. Yeah. So, yeah, Lucy's encouraging you to like the video. Thank you for liking the video. So I think we're going to experience lots of different emotions. These eclipses are going to bring up a lot of emotions. How do you deal with your emotions? How can you nurture and calm yourself, allow yourself to express the emotions that you have? I mean, I feel very tearful when I see some of the brutality of the police and the things that's been going on. Makes me want to cry. So I think there's a lot of emotions that we're feeling, and to really say that, to acknowledge that, whatever they are, not to sweep them under the carpet. But then to say, okay, I've got these emotions, and now what am I going to be doing that is different in my world? How can I create family? I have to confess, I had a disappointment yesterday. I went out to the nearby island of Evia, and I was hopeful that we might be creating some kind of a community there, but I didn't feel it. It just didn't feel at all right. So got to trust that. But one of my dreams is community and building community. And I'm looking for that, actively looking, asking. So what do you need to put out? What do you need to ask for to create that family that you want? So Mother Earth, everything to do with nature, to do with healing, to do with food, to do with the mother influence, the mothering. Everything to do with mother is being activated. And gosh, we've got a lot of different connotations, haven't we, about mother? Housing, water, food, all these things. But if we work together, there's nothing that we can't achieve through one little act of kindness upon another act of kindness towards yourself, towards others. And I am going to be, it'll be a first for me, doing a meditation for and a prayer for this solstice at the 0 degrees of Cancer. Yeah, we need to collaborate. We really do. This is about collaboration. So, I just feel so fortunate to have you with me today. I'm sending prayers for your well-being, for the well-being of those that you love, and that you may feel soothed and through these challenges, and at the same time feeling as though there is help. We have got help coming along. The ETs are helping, absolutely. No question about that. There is ET help here. So one mind, one heart, one humanity. This is what we're moving towards. So these are the words to think about. I hope that you enjoyed being with me as much as I enjoy being with you. Thank you very much for Lucy, really doing a terrific job on this live stream. She's amazing. And shalom. Thank you very much for being with me. And I'll just say bye for now. Thank you.